Welcome in everyone to the Challenge After Show. Today, Pamela and I are talking about the Challenge All Stars Season 4, Episode 5, The Way You Make Me Steal. Instead of, I assume, the way you make me feel, the way you make me feel. It really turns me on, it really turns me on. Michael Jackson,
Okay.
correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. That makes total sense. That's why it's called that.
But let me ask you, they steal every episode. They steal stars every episode. Was it in particular for a certain, topic in this episode, or could they have inserted that title in literally any episode this season, right?
The
I don't
episode this season, as far as I know, it doesn't have any specific correlation to tonight. It wasn't like
I was wondering, yeah.
a sneaky steal or anything that it struck out for me.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, that was my question for you. All right.
Yeah.
So, overall thoughts for this episode, Pamela. Ladies first.
Okay. I enjoyed it a great deal. I felt like it was really fast. I don't know if
Hmm.
that's just because if it was shorter than the others or if it just went by really fast. Um, I moderately enjoyed the challenge, and then the elimination I did was one of those things that wasn't that fun to watch. But I don't even understand how Leroy pulled out the win. Spoiler alert, if you're don't listen to this if you haven't watched the episode.
I
But I was
Yeah.
glad that he did. And then there was just two kind of drama points in this episode: Laurel and Nicole and
Cam, Cara and
Cara
Cam.
and Cam. Yeah, I'm like, who's
Cara
Cara?
and Cara and Cara. Who are
Do I
they?
know of Cara? I was just thinking in my mind, I slowed down when I said that. Now I'm like, who the hell's Cara?
So
Anyway,
yes,
yeah,
yes. So the I have a lot of issues with these type of eliminations where they can
yeah.
100% manipulate um how it was really completed and how close it actually was and what really happened. So I'm really sick of that crap. I want to get back to give me a pole wrestle. You're still going to
Mhm.
obviously try to manipulate it, maybe speed it up, cut out things to just speed up the time of it. But we see who the freaking winner is pretty obviously because they're in one screen. It's like you and I right now, we're in two different worlds talking. That's kind of what they were doing. So they're doing the split
Yes.
screen, and it's like, well, is that happening at the same? They're cutting back and forth. It's like, well, is that actually happening when this shot is happening? I don't want to guarantee that it didn't because you can never guarantee something. Most likely, no. It was definitely edited. Maybe it was somewhat close. Who knows if it was actually that freaking close? At one point, they showed Brandon basically had the fifth ball rolling
Four,
right
right?
next
And
to
they
it.
had
It's like
none. So I literally looked down, and then it's like winner Leroy, and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
the way they made it seem was that Brandon had that last ball about to rotate in, but he just couldn't get that last ball in, and Leroy came back out of nowhere and won it. No idea if that's what really happened. That's really starting to be like a theme here with these type of shows. They're making things seem so much closer. Even in daily challenges, Pamela, when TJ's like, "Well, by a tenth of a second, this team won."
Right.
Well, where the hell you calculating those freaking numbers, man?
Yeah. And the other
Christ.
thing was the most liquid per second. I thought it
Oh,
was just who got the most their thing filled up the highest. And it was like, wait, we're adding
yep.
a time component into the liquid, like the most liquid filled per second. And I was like, come
Why?
on.
Like,
Why?
there's I don't give a crap how long it takes you. I think what they wanted was the element of, well, these people are just going to put on their brakes at every turn. We're not going to get a lot of action. And they're just going to basically go slowly down this slide that we've obviously engineered for people to go fast down. So it's actually kind of a poor producer execution of that. It's like, well, you got to come up with a way for them to want to stay fast. Okay, we'll throw in a time element. Well, us as the viewer has no idea how this time element's being calculated. It's hot garbage. And I have another weird conspiracy. I don't even know if it's a conspiracy, but something I noticed in the editing, a poor editing job when we get to the daily challenge of what they showed. But TJ was involved in it. That was kind of cool,
TJ was
actually.
great.
So
TJ
I'm
did it.
like,
That was cute.
can we get TJ more involved? We have to beat TJ at something because I mean he's older now. He can't do what he used to do. But dude, this was a BMX champion.
Yeah.
He's athletic when it comes to maybe riding a bike, but maybe he's good at other stuff too. But yeah, let's get him involved. Let's challenge TJ. That should be a whole other element to this show. I'm down for that for sure if they continue it. But Yeah.
Be amazing. It's an amazing idea. If not, if it's for another show. Like, can
He's
you beat
pretty
TJ?
Yeah, he's pretty
Or
beat up though. If you noticed him after he got out of like the bobsled thing, him trying to run over to turn on the spout.
Fountain? Oh,
I was
the
doing fountain and faucet combined with spout, and I got fout. Yeah, but when he ran over there, you kind of saw him like he doesn't have that giddy up that he probably had 20 years ago. That's for sure.
forget that. Remember however long ago when
Yeah.
TJ like had to relearn to walk? Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
want
I
to be
know. I
that
mean,
age.
this is
That's why
all
I'm
this
like,
is
I feel
all
like he's moderately fragile at this point, but it would be fun.
yeah. No, these are all
I feel like
reasons
the
why
host
he's
should still
not,
save
yeah.
it.
These
Yeah.
are all reasons why he looked like he was not doing
Yeah, I
great
don't
and
want
running.
TJ to get hurt again.
No. Okay, so let's go back to the top here. We have our star holders. Do we want to go over who our star holders are at the beginning of the
Because
episode?
yes, because it's
Okay.
the day, and I was like, oh, I might have to answer this email while I'm watching. So a little
Okay.
bit of yes, let's go
Okay.
over.
We got Cara, Jazz, and Veronica.
Got it.
Okay. And we've got Kefla, Steve, and Adam to start off for the boys.
Okay.
Um, and I just wanted to bring this up. I thought it was funny. Cara at the top of the episode felt like she was in that Julia Roberts movie. I'm like,
Pretty woman,
you
right?
can't like, how do you not? Did she not know the name? Because that was like obviously right away. I was like, okay, Pretty Woman obviously is what when she went into the Beverly Hills thing and she was like, you
Right, of
lost out. What did
course.
she say? You're
You work
lost
on
or
a
whatever the hell she
mission?
says. Hmm?
Yes. Big mistake. She says, "Do you
Big
work on a
mistake.
mission?" And the girl says, "Yes." And she goes, "Big mistake."
Big mistake.
Yeah,
Right. And I mean, we've all seen that movie a million times. So I was like,
iconic line.
do you think there's no way they weren't allowed to say pretty woman, right? There was no
They
way
were
they
allowed to
can't
say,
say
you
it.
can say pretty woman, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So I just thought it was funny that she either didn't know the name. I assume she didn't know the name then, because that's the way it made it sound. If she's
I'm
like,
blanking on the name. I mean, yeah,
but don't
I
you
don't
think a
think
producer could be like, oh, it's Pretty Woman, then they can just retake, they can re-edit everything and retape stuff. Take two,
I don't
take
know if it's
three.
going back, if it's worth going back to re-record Cara saying pretty woman, because we all know what she means when she says the Julia Roberts movie, big
Yeah.
mistake, huge. I mean, we got it. So
Yeah. It's just funny. I just thought it's such a well-known movie. I'm surprised she had that's the way that she decided to go with it.
that's
So
it.
then we get a quick thing on Leroy and that he's dealing with postpartum depression. We also get Laurel and Nicole wrestling, and we also get Flora. We should break all these down. Okay. Which
I
one do you want?
mean, Flora, Nicole, the basic gist of it, which was good. I was like, yes,
Yeah.
thank God. Somebody's talking
I
sense.
mean, like, yes. I mean, Nicole, why do you need Flora to let you know that you're leading on Laurel? It's so freaking obvious to everybody. It should be obvious to you as well. And maybe it is. She's just one of those. I just don't think that she's good with relationships at all. Maybe she's a good person to friends and stuff, but like, what? And we're gonna get back in later on this episode. That what Nicole
Yeah.
does is ridiculous to me too.
So wait, so tell me, so Nicole was explaining, so prior to this, so her and Laurel had broken up years ago, from what I'm understanding. And then
Nicole was
Nicole
engaged. Nicole's been an
someone
entire.
else.
She's been engaged since that relationship with Laurel. She had a
Then
broken.
just broken up.
Yes, she's supposedly she's single on this season right now. She probably.
So
You know damn well Nicole's one of those people that needs to have someone in their life, whether it's like
yes,
someone they're doing or someone that they're just seeing or someone they're actually in a relationship with. So I guarantee there's someone at home watching this like, I thought I was with you at this time,
I
Nicole. You know,
uh, completely agree. One of those people
she's
that
not
need
just single and like not seeing anybody. Nicole's, I feel like that she's that type of person. She needs to have somebody right there just to make her
absolutely.
feel whole or whatever you want to freaking call it. I
Yeah,
just think
yeah,
that's
I
such
don't know what the diagnosis is for Nicole, but she definitely has whatever that is. And it's codependent or what.
doesn't want to be alone. Wants
I
to
mean,
even
it's like
like
attention, or like that's how you, and we all know people like that. Like
yeah,
it's
like
like,
need like that validation that she's worth
right,
like,
I'm not a
hey, this
person
girl,
that
at least this
someone,
girl wants to do me. I don't really care if I'm with her long term, but she wants me and that makes me feel good. And maybe I'm wrong, but I don't give a shit. That's how she makes me feel
you
good.
know, she knows.
So
I agree with you completely. It's interesting because I get stuck on that. She doesn't seem like one of those people that I know that needs, I think she in her mind would just say, what, I just like being with someone, which is just fair. People like being with someone, but it's a compulsion. I mean, yeah, I agree. She
But
cannot
it's
be.
also like, does that other person
And
feel the
don't
same?
fuck with the person that's still in love with you, whose
That's
heart
my
you got.
problem. Is the
You
other
just need
person
someone to
okay with
part
just
with.
casual? If that's okay, then that's cool. But Laurel obviously, like, here's the big issue. Let's get into it now. Later in the episode, you see, I mean, who knows when this timeline is? It could have already freaking happened before this episode. But Laurel goes into Nicole's bed, so it's not like Nicole. I'll give Nicole credit here. Nicole's in supposedly in her own bed, but then you hear Jay say, "Oh, not this
Yeah.
again." So it's obviously happening more than once. But
He meant
then
again, meaning in life. Like, I don't think
okay.
he
Oh, is that what you
necessarily
thought? I
meant.
thought okay, and that 100% makes sense as well. And commenters can let us know as well. I took it as on this season of the show, they'd already been like flirting a lot. So he's like, "Oh, not this again. They're flirting again this season." But your call, it makes 100% sense as well. But here's my point: is after they do the full, it looks like they went to night vision. They spent a long time in that bed together, obviously hooking up. Who knows how far? Jay said he heard noises. That doesn't sound like just kissing to me. Just saying. So, anyways, the next day, that's why they timeline it, is Nicole goes right up to her and says, "Hey, we not cool. We can't do this anymore." Well, hi, Nicole. How about doing this? How about not letting it even get that far then? If you're going to be that person the next day saying that, "Oh, wait, you wanted to have your cake and eat it too." Sounds about right. That's where I have an issue with Nicole.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's
And
what it was.
I wonder if the conversation with Flora was was shown to us out of order.
Who knows, right?
If that happened the next day, Nicole was like, Flora was like, you can't do that. You can't like,
Ah,
no. And we've seen this. We saw it with Tori and Jordan, her or him or someone being like, well, you can't like sleep in bed naked with me and then tell me we're just friends. Like, it's like
yeah, it happened with Jordan
that's
and
what
yeah.
we're looking up and ever. Anyway, so yes, it's always messy. Nicole should certainly know better. It was, again, it's hard to watch because Laurel, just into her dealings with Nicole, her like face, she just looks so cute to me too. It's funny, I don't like think Laurel's cute, but she always gets so like innocent and vulnerable. Like her face, like her little eyebrows are like, what? She's like, we're just messing, like having fun.
Yep.
And you can see like she wants to believe that, but it's like you're not. You are like, there's so much unpacked, unresolved feelings here. And good on Nicole for sort of saying like, oh, we need to have boundaries, but bad for not putting them up at the appropriate time. And
Correct.
I'm sure Flora her after the fact. You can't do that. Like you're
It was
a
obviously
million percent right.
after. It was obviously after some type of flirtation. Flora's not just gonna
So the
Flora. Right? I'm saying
wrestling
it.
and then sort of kissing after the
Yeah, but
wrestling.
Flora's
That's
not just gonna bring that up before they hook up. Obviously, something had already happened when Flora was like, "Hey, can't stop. You got to stop messing with Laurel's head." And let me say this about Laurel too. Laurel, just in general, outside of relationships, right? She seems like a not I don't want to say mature, but like an older person. She's obviously like she's got to be close to 40, if not older. But in relationships, she turns into what you just said, this innocent, young,
right.
like fragile girl. But like outside of any type of relationship, she's like this badass chick. So
Yeah.
it's such a weird dynamic how she totally changed her demeanor and everything change when it comes to relationships. It's
Yeah.
so interesting. Yeah, I
Yes,
noticed
she
it too.
becomes this sweet. It's true. Her like literally facial expressions, the way she
Yeah.
holds her face changes. That's so interesting. If anyone out there is a psychologist, boy, weigh in on this. She does. Her whole demeanor changes, and the vulnerability is so raw. And right, she's usually so tough and hard, but emotionally, I think she can be a little. I don't know if immature sounds
Well,
what's the word, negative, pejorative, and I don't mean to be knocking her for it, but there's a lot of emotional vulnerability. Maybe she came
yeah,
to her. I don't know, but yes.
she's a little blind when it comes to that side thing. I'm trying to think of what the word is. Not but anyways, yeah, something like that. Innocent, blind, where you don't know a lot, where you're just like happily like you don't know that part of so you're like, yeah. Anyways, uh,
Okay.
I can't think of the word right now.
Yeah, sorry, I had to look at that email, but now I'm turning it off and being
Oh, that's okay.
yeah, that was
No, that's
all.
fine.
Yeah, Laurel, it's hard. It's a really interesting. It's an interesting. If I was able to do a case study on Laurel, I would, because if I was a psychologist, because it is interesting, and Nicole too. The whole dynamic of that is interesting and hard to watch. It's because it's very real and everybody can relate, but
Yeah.
it's also real in such a fucked up way that we can all relate to. Everyone's been the person that's like feeding somebody else's ego, at least most of us in the world have, where it's like, yeah, it's not about you, it's about them wanting
Yeah.
attention and validation and whatever, and they might be attracted enough, it's not like they hate you, but
Hmm.
it's and the other person is much more emotionally
Right.
vulnerable in that situation, where Nicole is just like, it's fun, we're having fun. And for
Yeah.
Laurel, this is not fun.
Um, I don't want to talk about the Leroy stuff too much because I just don't know enough about it to speak on it, like the postpartum stuff, because I didn't personally, I don't think I experienced it when my daughter was born.
That's where I'm like, all right,
So I
sensitive
don't,
culture. I understand that having a life change, having anything like that can cause, they're
see,
calling it, but postpartum in women, and I don't mean to be sexist against men and postpartum, but it's a hormone. It's literally your body is
right.
releasing all this shit. So yes, the impact of becoming a father can also be caught. I don't know that I had a tiny eye roll and sorry
Yeah.
world, but I'm like,
So
it's not the same thing as saying men have PMS and it's like, haha, yuck, 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 like, oh, I'm hungry and I'm moody. It's like you might
I
you
don't
don't
think,
have you don't have your period, you're not getting that flux of hormones. So
I think calling it from a man's perspective postpartum, I think is honestly, I think it's pushing it. I knew my forever that my life was going to change, but I was like, I also didn't have a baby inside me for 9 months. I literally there's a clip online of Ryan Gosling for the Barbie movie. Is it echoing for you right now?
no,
Am I
it's
talking?
not for
Okay.
me.
The Ryan Gosling, I think he was like getting an award for Barbie or something, and he just like stood up like, oh, me, I'm the one. It should be all these wonderful women, not me. I just played Ken, whatever you want to call it. But they put a meme under that says, when the baby comes out and everyone's saying congratulations to you, when all you did was kind of just stare at the moment and realize like,
Right,
oh,
like,
I now have a
yeah,
baby. I didn't do
I
any
did it with her. Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's
like I mean
amazing.
obviously I helped out as much as I could, but like even now it's like I can't breastfeed this child. I can feed the bottle to her, but like
Well, that's
stay.
what I was gonna say. The postpartum is like your body and hormones and breath. Like there's a whole. That's where I'm like, okay. On on the flip side of that argument, I loved every bit of what. Like at the same time, I'm like eye rolling them calling it postpartum, just because that to me seems medical, and it's like where I do believe there's very real emotional psychological weight associated with a huge life-changing event
Right.
that happens to a father as well as a mother. Like I understand that. And I really do for whatever we're calling it. I'm like, I'm calling, but I'm being sorry, kind of sarcastic because whatever we're calling it, say we just called it man partum or post baby blues for man,
I think
whatever.
it's Pamela. I think cut and dry. It's I now have this human being to take care of, and that's the feeling I had. Like, holy crap! It's going to be this baby is around all the time. I don't. I. It's not like I'm just like a fun uncle. Like this is my baby, my responsibility.
Life is forever
So like
altered. It's never going to
if
be.
that's postpartum, but it's not to me like at all.
Well, it seemed like Leroy, because they said he went and got counseling, was dealing with issues, maybe baggage from his own past that also were contributing to those feelings of being scared to be a father. That
Yeah.
it's everybody's comes at it differently. So having done the making fun of it, snarky, I love that Leroy was like experiencing his own feelings and realized that he wanted help and got it and talked about it, which, as
Sure.
Cam said in the episode, there's a lot of
Yeah. Call it whatever you
expectations.
want. He got the help that he needed.
He did the
So.
right thing, and I love hearing about it. I'm glad it's a
But I
storyline.
had never, if this is true, then I'll have to go look it up later. I've never heard of a male having postpartum
I mean,
depression.
again,
It made me smile because I'm pretty sure you have to like, I don't, it's not the same. I don't think it's the same thing. I just don't.
it's not. Postpartum is a hormonal term. I mean, usually when they said that, you're experiencing it because of the physical things that are happening in your body, including hormones, which rule your emotions. That's why women, we don't get PMS just because we're like, it's gonna be my period soon. I'm eating some ice cream. It's like you're literally having hormones that make you feel
Yeah.
rage or whatever. So yes, that's where I'm like, it's not postpartum. Like we can
Yeah.
call it. That's where
So
again,
it's
now
fine.
I'm putting now I'm like
So
been arguing against myself. Like I think it's fine if men want
yeah.
to have postpartum, whatever. But
So speaking of Leroy,
he did he did everything right. I'm very proud of Leroy, and it's hard for anybody and recognizing I'm all for being self-aware and getting help when help is needed. So
yeah.
whatever we're calling it, go Leroy, but call it something else.
All right. So speaking of Leroy, he does try to mend the fences with Cara and Cam, or Cara and Cara, as you like to call them now.
Cara. No, I don't even, it wasn't even that I thought Cam was Cara. It was
No.
Cara and someone else in my mind. That's
Oh, okay.
Cara.
Well, it
I
was
don't
funny either way. It's funny to say it. So Cara and Cam, they can't work things out. Shit goes, hits the fan again. And I am 100% on Cara's side. She's making excellent points throughout this entire thing. The 2 points that I wrote down that I thought she made really well were that Cam got what she wanted and she's still mad about it, even though she got what she wanted. And the fact that Cara calls out Cam, we called out Cam. I think maybe I called her out last week and said, Cam, you just don't want to go up against Cara in a final. Like, this is your new thing. You're really scared about having to compete against her because you know you're not in tip-top shape like you usually are for these, for the seasons here. And obviously, she has good reason not to be, but that's my point. So, like, Cara calls her, you just don't want to go against me. And Cara's 100% right. And Cam says, well, no, but now I'm going to try to get you out because you like said that. I'm like, oh my God. Like,
yeah,
you
Cam goes,
wanted her
well,
out
now I
before
don't
that. Get
right
out of
now.
here.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. I felt again bad for poor Lee, who was so in the middle, but obviously has to be on his wife's side. But he was very torn and he sort of initiated their having a chat, which again I feel for Lee because I was totally on Kara's side, but there's no but. I was totally on her side. The way the conversation went down though, said her Ayana and Cara was like, I knew you were gonna bring that up. And you got what you want. Their arguments were both Cara's was valid and Cam's seemed like bullshit to me. It's like, well, I got what I want without the support of my friend. And it's like, how much do you, how, come on. And Cam also said you wanted there it to be, wanted to tie the vote. She had some like greater thought out plan and have it be like Flora and Rachel and Cara. That's when I was like, no, Cam, she just didn't want to say Rachel's name. You got, come on.
Yeah.
Like how much, again, I'm back to my original, how much support can a friend give you in your game? It's not, but then Cara, oh, that's when she sort of lost me. Oh, it was with Brandon. And he was
Yeah.
like,
Well,
I've
that was
been
my
married
next.
for, right. And she was like, I'm a hermit in my real life. It's like, you can say congratulations on your marriage. Come on. That's where I was like, Cara, that's not a good, you say, well, we're close and, I have two lives. One is the game and you're one of my, when I'm here, that's my reality. And you're a close friend in that. But like, I'm not the person that's gonna, sorry,
So
send you a
Pamela,
post.
and this is where Cara lost me because, well, first of all, it's hilarious. Brandon's conveniently just right there too. Like all the people she's having issues with this season are just all in the same room all of a sudden. I'm like, did producers like say, hey, Brandon, we need you in this room for a scene? Like, come on, that's probably what they're doing at this point.
Yeah.
Like, we need
It's
the
time to
we
have
need
it
to
out with Cara. Everybody
there
come
you
in.
go. That's what it is, as far as I'm concerned. So Brandon's there, and he said it's been 8 years at this point. He said 10, I think, last episode. Now he's down to 8. Who knows what the hell the timeline really is? But I'm sorry, Cara. You guys aren't friends. I mean, I know you're doing your own thing. And Cara's like, well, when I'm not on the show, I do my own thing. I'm like, well, but if you're really friends with someone,
Oh, life, right. Right. You can
yeah,
do life and he's not a part of it. And you're not a part
right.
of his, and that's
You're
fine,
not
but don't
friend.
pretend
You're
you're best
not
friends.
friends. And Cara, if you never came back on this show, so you just say, "Oh, we're show friends," like, well, what the hell does that mean if you never come back on the show?
Right.
And to think that Brandon is automatically going to be like, okay, we're back on the show together. I was friends with you 8 years ago. Let's work together this 8 years later. Well, maybe he doesn't want to. Now, I thought that was a mistake. I thought he definitely should have last episode. We talked about that. And my whole thing was hearing this fight again where Brandon's like, I don't, we're doing our own thing now. If I'm Jay, I'm running right up to Cara and said, hey, Cara, you want a new number one? I'll be that number one. Jay voiced it last episode. Jay should be running after Cara saying, hey, look, I will be true to you, because I'm sorry, but Cara's who I'd want to hitch my wagon to, seeing the competitors from this season. I think that Cara's got the best chance as far as winning daily challenges to stay on top, blah, blah, blah. And, this team shit needs to stop, because you're not going to see someone how really good they are if they have to be, on a team with someone else that could suck or mess up. I want to see them individually do their own thing, and we'll get into that in the daily coming up. One person can mess it up for you. It's like, well, I didn't mess up. You messed it up for me, but now I'm still on the bottom because of what you decide to do. Even though, so it doesn't really show the person's true individual what they were capable of, because they're tied down to four, not just a teammate. I'm talking like four other people here, Pam. So I don't like, but anyways, you saw when Cara was alone what she's capable of, is my point. So yeah.
I agree with everything you said with the Brandon thing. Not to play devil's advocate, this is my
Sure.
I understand show friends and we bonded and like there's that lifelong bond. Like again, if in you and Jen, we don't always, I mean, we talk sometimes, but we don't always talk outside of this. If there was some sort of competition of the podcasters and we were in it, I'd be like, Jenna and Dan are my people. Like, obviously, I'm going to have their back in there. So I understand the feeling of like, these are people that I do this with and we're close in this, whatever. But I also understand his thing. It's like, don't pretend we're friends. We're not really best friends or anything.
It's been 8 years though, Pam. Like the longest we go on talking is like a month or something, It's
the thing though, I think that she thought they were like, we're going to be, have each other's backs in this, right?
I hear what you're saying for sure. It's a good example, the podcast thing. That's a good example.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, well, we're homies, so obviously we're gonna have each other's back. Like, I get both sides. It's like, I want to win. I don't, you don't have my kids. You're not my kid's mother. I need money. Like, I get his like real life, real money. Like, I want it. Sorry, Cara, that we met 9 years ago on a TV show.
I mean, in hindsight too, Brandon, like, think about it. Like, if she wins daily challenges, and don't you want her, and you lose daily challenges, don't you want her to not vote you in? Like, and
she can't. That's why I'm like that's where I'm saying I'm on your side with Team Jay. It's like, if you're too dumb to see that, Brandon, Cara, vote him out. Jay, be her number one. A guy and a girl are going to make it to the finals. That will,
Well, no, only one person wins though. Oh God,
but like
3 and 3 is what you mean. And you know what? If you don't think,
you're not going to win anyway.
If you don't, that's what I'm saying, Pam. If you don't come into this season thinking you can beat anybody at this, then why the F are you even there? There's only one winner. So if you don't think you can beat Cara, give up now. Go home. Like, unless you think you can win this whole thing, come in prepared to be. And as we know in the challenge, and Wes brought it up when he was on our show. If you want to check it out, it's on the front cover of our YouTube channel page. Like, he said, anything can happen in these finals. Like, it's pretty. He didn't say sketchy, but it's like, anyone can win these damn things. Let's be real.
Right. Dizzy Batten, but yeah, exactly.
Who knows what the hell's going to happen, right? Yeah.
As we saw with Cara and Rachel last week, it's like, of course, you want to stack your odds. You want to go against someone you can pretty well beat in most things. I get it, wanting to get very strong people that are good at everything out, but at the same time, you just want to you want to get yourself there.
Yeah, well, for sure. And he didn't do that, obviously, as we see at the end of this episode today. Okay, bobblehead bobsled, which I liked it. I didn't love it. I thought the spout idea was cool, that you had to get to, because that to me is the speed thing, which is why I don't think you needed the timing BS. Is if you want to take your time stopping at every single one of them and pulling down the thing, that's going to slow down everybody in a way. But Cara's team actually kind of found a fail-safe in that. If the first person speeds through all of them and gets the last one, then that gives the other people time where they can each stop for each one and pull down the water.
It is a good strategy.
But like, I don't like the time element. I love the spout going off and you having to get down there as quick as you can to stop the spout. And you only stop the spout once all the bags are in. You can't stop it right when you get down there. The bags have to be in there. So
now I get it. I didn't understand what was happening with the spout.
Yeah, okay. But like, I just, like I said, like you brought it up, the whole time, adding a time element in, I want to be able to just look at it and see who the winner is and be done with it. Yeah. I don't like the other idea of that, it coming down to a timed thing. I thought that was dumb.
I mean, I didn't mind the way it shook out personally, but still, I was like, wait, per second?
Yeah, so
I can see they won. I like what I can see. Look at the picture and see. And
Right.
again, now it became a
So
mystery.
based on what we saw, it does look like Brad's team did go first, and we all know there's always a disadvantage to going first on these things. Not
Yeah.
all the time, but most of the time there's going to be a disadvantage because other teams get to figure out what they all were
In
clearly
this
watching.
one, a very big disadvantage because
Yes.
figuring out what this isn't a hard thing to do in terms of running up a mountain hard. This is hard because you need to figure out a strategy for your team.
Right. And
And if you're
you were told that the time element was also going to be added in with the level of liquid in that tube element. So Brad, I mean, look, maybe after him messing up twice, maybe he should try to slow down a little bit to grab to grab it a little bit easier on himself. But like they were so mad at Brad. They were, what the F, what the F? I mean, they were really going after Brad, and I didn't appreciate that. Look, he was so humble. He's like, I know I messed up. I'm sorry. Like, I did, and they made him feel really bad. Like
But
it
why
was
was Cara like the only voter? Like, oh, I guess because it was her team. I was gonna say because
it
it
was
should have been
Cara's team.
Brad and Leroy then in the.
Well, Brad was an option to go in there
Yeah, I know. Why didn't they pick Brad? He's the one that screwed it up for.
because Cara was so mad about the
I
other
know, but
two,
Cara's
and,
just
and,
one
and
person.
Leroy
What
was
did they?
down. Leroy's entire team didn't have any votes. They couldn't vote.
No,
Leroy's
Leroy, I think. But who else was on Cara's team? Why did they all vote for Brandon and nobody voted for Brad?
because Cara's team was I wrote it down. Cara, Adam, Jay, Veronica, and Ace. So, but none of
So
them had any. None of them had any issues. Yeah, you're right though. I mean, Adam could have, but like Jay likes Cara. Jay clearly wants to work with Cara, so
right,
Jay's gonna and
no.
Cara said her vote first. She was
But if
smart.
I'm a
Unlike
guy and we're going back to, I would rather have Leroy versus Brad to get one of them out over Brandon.
maybe that's where because you also had Ace. Ace could have been like, well, but then maybe if he sees that if Cara and Jay go after him, I mean, I still think, I mean, Brad's not the sharpest tool in the box, as we know. He's a great guy. I love
No,
watching
but
Brad, but he always messes up something mental. Remember that
he's
time?
good at puzzles though. Remember, he's like weirdly. I was like,
Was he? I
this
mean, he's been
Brad
doing this for so long. Hopefully, he's finally gotten good at it.
puzzles. He's got a good mastery of physical when he has to like do something like this, and I can't remember the
Remember on All
example.
Stars though, where he did something wrong with the knot, untying a knot or
Well,
tying
everything.
knots,
Him and as Rachel said, it was all brawn and no brains on that team when they were playing dominoes.
and that was two
But
episodes ago, right? He's always
when
messing
he's a
some stuff up. Yeah,
physical with him and Jody, same thing. All brawn, no brains when in the finale. And whenever he picked Jody to be his partner over that thing, it's like you guys are strong, but you got to have a little mental there too. But
yeah.
physically, he is. There's been things where I'm like, how did Brad do that? And he is good at physical puzzles.
Our brains all work differently. That's for sure.
Do.
Yeah, just they were so mad at him. That was like, holy crap. Now, here's where my conspiracy comes in. I was really, really, I don't know if they just retaped this or what happened. The second team goes, it's the orange team. Okay. And everyone can go back and watch this. I rewatched this little clip 3 times to make sure that I wasn't losing my mind. Okay.
Okay.
And okay. So, TJ gets to the bottom of the hill and he has to turn the spout on for the water to start coming out. Okay. The clip they show of him doing the orange team was the spout was already running. And the clip they showed was him going over and turning the spout maybe more. Maybe he didn't fully open the spout. But when he went to go turn on the spout, what they like showed that him doing that, it was already on. So I'm wondering if he was just trying to get it on more. I was confused. I don't know if they just said, hey, we missed you turning the spout on. Just go over there and pretend to do it again. But the spout was already on when he went to turn it on.
Dan, this is why this I'm so glad you brought this up because this confused me and made me think, oh, I'm a moron. I
So
can't
you
follow
saw
the
it too
rules.
then?
I did see it too. And I was like, why is theirs is the spout's always on and you're trying to outrun this? Like I didn't get the whole thing anymore, but I do think it was just probably a go back and shoot. I'm sure that they wouldn't have had that glaring of an error, but I'm glad you said it because I was like, am I that? I get that I'm not like great at the sportsmanship, but I can't follow like
The
I can
sportsmanship.
understand the spout thing. And then when you said it, I was like, okay, that makes sense. But something threw me off of that because I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah, yeah.
I saw it running the whole time. Like,
Pam,
and I
I
was
hope that you're good at sportsmanship, meaning that you give high fives after games to show
like,
sportsmanship. You mean you're not good at following the rules for a certain sporting event, possibly.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But I'm a good sportsman. But
Yes.
yes, I didn't understand that. And I was like, oh, something's like, I need to take ginkgo biloba or something to like sharpen my brain. Is that what you take to sharpen your brain?
Is that the new thing? I always thought it was that those the fish pills.
I was gonna say, I think it's an old thing. Like it was pre ginkgo biloba and garlic. I remember like my mom, when my mom was like 50, being like, I'm taking ginkgo biloba so my brain stays
Mm.
sharp. Like when I was a child.
Like I don't know
Um,
if it was like maybe 10 years ago, but everyone was taking those like fish pills in
Soy,
the fish oil pills, whatever it was. I remember my
omega
roommate
3,
used to do it, huh?
omega 3. If you eat a healthy
Omega-3.
diet, you're supposed to get enough of that anyway. Every time I
I
go
would
to
say I
bed, I'm
just
like,
eat I eat
vitamins,
some
I mean,
tuna. I like tuna. Would tuna work?
tuna. I ate a poke bowl for the first time yesterday. Have
First,
you ever?
poke bowls. Oh my God, they're amazing. Yeah.
So there's a place where I get a poke, but it's like a real restaurant. It's not a bowl. It's like all the poke bowl
Yeah.
components. So I've had the thing.
You
This
want
was
to know where
basically
the first place I ever had a poke bowl was?
where?
Was in Hawaii,
Oh,
Honolulu, Hawaii, right? So I
okay.
was like, that set the bar. But ever since I've had them, since they're still really damn good. And there's a place right here near where Stacy and I live called like Poke Co, like company.
That, oh, does it look like home? Like is it like blue writing?
I don't
Pokey.
know if it's a chain, Pamela, not gonna lie, but
There's one in Palm Springs, and then there was another one. Anyway.
they're
I had a
delicious.
there it was so well. So I thought you were gonna say where I first had a pokey, not bowl, but a pokey bowl on a plate is at Tommy Bahamas in Palm Springs, and
Yeah,
it's so good,
but
like
not
so.
with. So a little side story here. Pamela's bringing that up because when Stacy and I went out to Palm Springs last time, we were there. Obviously, I hit up Pam because that's where she lives. I said, "Hey, we should all go out and hang out." So we went out to Tommy Bahamas that night with obviously with your hubs. At the time, you guys were not married though, correct?
I think we had just no,
Stacy
we
and
had
I.
just gotten married or
This
we're
was
gonna
like
get married. We just
Stacy and
moved
I
out
were
here.
very new dating. This was a while ago. But then we went out and we're like, "You want to continue the fun?" We went out to the casino after and started getting
Yeah,
drinks at the bar there. That was fun. Yeah.
that was
Um,
fun. Yeah,
but anyways, that Tommy Bahamas night, which we had a blast at, you didn't. That's not the first time you had the
that
pokey there.
That's no, I didn't
No.
get it that night. This was kind of recent, and now I'm obsessed with it. I'm thinking about it. I've had Luke bring it home for me because he works right near there like twice. And
Mm.
the poke bowl, I did start off with like 5 star that, and now I'm like, this is good. It'll hit the spot in a pinch, but it's like getting mall sushi after you've had like really good sushi in. So I'm gonna stick with the really good one because poke, whatever I got, that is a chain because I had it in like Palm Desert, not the one right here. Um, it's not inexpensive either. Like we got like it, I mine was fine. It was like pretty inexpensive, but the girl I was with got that in like a green tea and it was like $30. And I was like,
Yep.
that's like what my entree cost, and it's 2 meals worth at the Tommy Bahamas. And if you guys are ever in Palm Springs, go to Tommy Bahamas because you think to yourself, the clothing. And I've always been embarrassed at how much I love the food. And then recently other people were talking about how amazing it is and like real lifelong Palm Springs people that really live here and have like actual food restaurant knowledge were like, oh, the food's amazing.
The
And I
food.
was like,
Well,
thank you, because
so
I
there's
love
one.
it.
There's one in Newport Beach. So I don't know, maybe a 25-minute drive from where I live. And so Stacy and I have gone there multiple times
Oh,
since we went to yours.
okay.
And
I love it. We have
the
LA friends that
the
move here that
drinks are
go there every
great.
day.
Great
My mom
drinks.
and my cousin were here from Boston, and my mom from New Jersey and my cousin from Boston, we ate there every day just because it was right by their hotel. And like for lunch, it's just easy and everything's good.
Yeah,
Like
everything is good.
they should hire me.
Yeah.
Just say how good they are. But yeah, I'm a big fan. I go through phases of what I want to order. Like now I'm into the ahi tuna,
So like they had
but
the store, obviously they had the clothing store before, and then they're like, oh, let's make a restaurant too. Like, what the hell happened there? I don't know.
so it's called the Marlin Bar, as we know. The Tommy Bahamas restaurant is the Marlin Bar. I believe the clothing came first. I don't know how it evolved
Yeah,
into food, but they do it good.
they do it good.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on from Tommy here, even though I could talk about Tommy all day. So that was the orange controversy with the orange team. The red team, that's Cara's team. She came up with the strategy. And then the dark blue team, they kind of messed up. I don't know if they would have won, but Ryan had one extra water
Yeah.
pack in there. He thought it was his fupa. Great joke. He's having fun with himself, so that was funny. And the winning team ends up being Kefla, Steve, Cam, Tina, and Derek. And that was I don't know what team that was. Maybe it was the orange team. I don't freaking know. Yeah,
Steve.
it had to be. It had to be the orange team because the
It
blue
was
team was
the
Brad.
or whatever. Yeah, it
I
was
think it was
some
the orange
team.
team. There was only 4 teams, and it was the orange team. So then I thought to myself, though, if that's true, then and the orange team won, and they had that controversy with the weird water thing that I noticed. I'm just saying, there's your controversy. Why did the orange team?
Yeah.
Why did he go
We
back
have
over
to
there?
assume, I'm gonna assume for the sake of whatever that it's true. But yeah, I mean, I'll buy it.
Let me ask you this. They kept saying over and over again, oh, Derek, great strategy. Even TJ said, Derek, great strategy. What the F did he do? I don't know what he did. Like, they didn't show it. Maybe he
I
did
don't
have this great
know.
strategy, Pam. I have no idea what Derek did that was so amazing that no one else did. Like, he stored him in his shirt. I saw other people storing his shirt. I don't
They
know
did that.
what did Derek do? That
I
should be
don't
the name of this
know.
show episode title. What did
But he
Derek do?
definitely did get a shout out. Like Tina was like
Multiple,
MVP,
multiple
and
times.
Tesla was like he's going to be in the final if he keeps performing like this. So I'd like to know what Derek did too. Hashtag what did Derek do?
What
Let
did
us
he
know if you
do?
know. Why was he such a star in this?
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
Tell me more.
I
Like,
mean, I guess he was good at pouring the water out, but he wasn't because he accidentally held on to a bag. Like,
no, that was Ryan. That was Ryan,
oh,
different guy.
okay. Okay. But
But
Derek, yeah,
like,
everyone was Derek
because
MVPing and
did Derek go down? See, here's what I should have went back and watched, but it's hard to tell because they're all wearing freaking bobbleheads. Did Derek go down the hill first? Because if he did and was able to snag all the water pouches, maybe. But I thought he went third. I'm so confused. I don't know. It's hard to
I
tell
don't know,
who's
but
going down
that
there.
would be this is one of those challenges that on its face seems like it's easy, like roll down and
Hmm.
grab a bag. But that would be so frustrating because you're cut off. Like
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, this would actually be really frustrating because you can't see above, those bobbleheads
No,
when
it's annoying as
you
hell.
can't
Yeah.
see. It's like you're just kind of grabbing
Yeah.
at a pinata, like blindfolded.
Right.
It's like that would be even more frustrating than
Yeah.
yeah.
So the light and the dark blue team, they're the bottom two. Okay, the
Okay.
orange team obviously must win now that I'm thinking about it here. And the red team is Cara's team, and they get to vote. So the bottom team, and they know it's a male elimination only, you got Brad, Leroy, Brandon, and Ryan. Those are the 4 options that they have for guys that they can vote in. That's it. So they had to go with that. So Ryan, I'm not worried about running a final with Ryan. I thought it was a great choice to keep him around. You know why? Go after the heavy hitters. Get rid of the heavy hitters. And honestly, like on any day, Brandon, Leroy, and Brad, I'd still put Brad at the top of that list, but I would interchange Leroy and Brandon. Brandon, honestly, if you look at, I can look up his record now. Brandon overall, I don't remember it being very good. I never remember Brandon being this great challenger. So I
Look
can
up his
definitely look.
record because I feel like we've never seen much from him. I don't want to be he's always and forever remained a to me. Like, is he
Yeah,
good? Is he not good? But I have to say, and again, I'll take that as because of teams, but I'm surprised at how not good Leroy's doing.
yeah,
Um, and so I'm glad he won this. It's because it showed that he can do something. And I think, if I'm thinking correctly, Leroy's always really pretty good in eliminations. Like he's good at eliminations.
yeah. All right. So what's Brandon's last name? That's going to be an issue here. No, it's not that Brandon. Is it Nelson? Brandon Nelson? I have to look this up.
Yes,
Um,
that is him.
Okay, hold on. My thing froze. Here it is. All right, Brandon Nelson. And let's see his overall record on the show. He came in on a free agent. He's a fresh meat, not a free agent. Fresh meat he did. Okay, here's his record. Here we go. He's got 3 daily wins. He went 3-4 in eliminations, which is, around 500. He has never, yeah, he never been to a final.
And to be fair, I feel like how many seasons has he been on? Like, is this his third? Like, I
One,
don't really
no,
know his.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He did
Oh,
5 seasons of the
out
challenge.
of 40 though. So, and we know, people that have
What's
done
that?
25. I said out of like 40 though. So we haven't seen him much.
No, 5 times though. He's had
Yes.
3 daily wins and he's never been to a final. So, I mean, that obviously, there you go. He went 3-4 in eliminations.
Okay.
Easily, yeah. Very, very average, if not below average for a
Yeah.
challenger for sure. Okay, so let's move this train along the track here. Uh, we get to Brandon in a confessional. And every time I say you, when you see someone in a confessional, either means they're gonna kick some ass or they're going home because like they gotta get that in. Super cute kid. She was absolutely adorable. Reminded me like I was thinking. Anytime I see like a little girl now, I think Olivia's going to get to that age, and I'm gonna have.
Um,
I get to have conversations with my daughter. Like I feel like I'm already doing that at 5 months when she doesn't even. She just says blah blah blah, and I feel like, oh yeah, you're talking to me. Like I am so excited. And Stacy's like, she's growing up too fast. I'm like, I know, but I'm like kind of excited to talk to her.
Ages are cute until they become a teenager. It's all cute until they suck and they hate you.
I'll let you
But
know in 13 13
15,
years.
they don't really turn until like mid 14. So you gotta have like 14 years to enjoy her. Yeah, then after that, you'll hate her for a couple of years. You
Oh
won't
boy,
hate her, she'll hate you.
she'll
But
hate
then
me.
she'll like you again yeah, she'll like you again when she gets into her 20s. It's just growth.
I'll get through it. I'll get through it.
Yeah,
Okay,
but right now,
so
3, my friend's kid is 3, and it is the cutest age. Like, I'm obsessed with 3, like, where they walk and talk and have a real personality, and he's potty trained, so did I tell you guys this last week? Am I repeating the story about Ozzy peeing? We stayed together after his big brother's birthday in a hotel, so he's like, "Mommy, come here." I just wake up, and she's like, "Wow, good job." And then she's like, "Can I flush?" And he's like, "No, have to show Pam." Pam, it's like step right up. Like, everyone got to see their
look
own
what I can
private
do.
showing, the own private showing of the pee-pee. It's like, wow, that's what they made.
Wow.
Like, good job. And then he wanted to save it for his brother to see after school. And his
Yeah.
mom was like, "Yeah, we're not fucking saving the pee-pee all day." Like,
But isn't that the simple thing of life? Like I wish I could go back to like how proud you are of that moment. Like yeah,
yeah,
just
look what I
the
did.
simplicity of like I can never go back to this, but like on Friday nights, like my friends and I would get together, we'd be in my basement playing N64 till 2 o'clock in the morning, ordering Nintendo 64.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and playing video games till 2 in the morning and ordering pizza and drinking like Coca-Cola and Fruitopia and just garbage drinks and potato chips. It didn't
Yeah.
matter. We didn't gain a pound because we're just scrawny little kids, and it was the best time ever. And we like
Yeah.
awesome. Friday nights
Yeah.
were
Me
the
and my
best.
friends did that and like made prank calls and like ordered
We
Domino's
did that. We watched
and
TGIF. I
like
mean,
spied on my sister and like spied on other people and like walked around
oh sure, yeah.
neighborhood, and it was the most fun time ever. And sang. We like to sing songs a lot too.
Yeah, but like, can you like as an adult now, like I can't get a bunch of guys together on a Friday night. First of all, I don't know how even they don't live near here, right? Even if they were around, like live in the same town, they don't have other obligations and things of that nature. I can't imagine. Hey
Well,
guys,
now I did have a nice long prolonged lying like on a couch with friends until like 28, like until I was in LA. Then I had neighbors that were my friends, so we had a lot
no,
of.
and I mean, I guess I mean pre kids because I could have
Oh,
still sure. I was single until I was like in my
but
30s.
these
So
were neighbors, and I had like I had a lot of being able to just sit around and do nothing with friends for a lot for I was luckily like I had
yeah,
that. It is hard. That's what I'm like. I don't like to do anything. I just like to have people like hang out at my house,
right.
like
Yeah.
lay around and do nothing. That's why it's hard being an adult because you have to
Oh
like
yeah.
pencil it in and go do
Oh,
something. You can't
I
just be
know.
like, just come over for a few hours.
Yeah.
To like
Yeah. And as a kid,
hide
oh,
there and make
freaking best.
plans. Yeah.
All right.
Well, life isn't
So
conducive to hanging out all day.
yeah, so we get the confessional there. And then we have the Nicole and Laurel stuff again, but we already chatted about that. And then we get into nominations. It's pretty straightforward. They all basically go for Leroy and Brandon. I think one maybe it was Jay that said I can't go for Brandon, so he went for Ryan, but whatever. It was overall. Um, And then we get to the elimination mission improbable. And here's my other like dead giveaway. TJ starts explaining the game because, as you know, TJ gets to explain the game before Derek can decide. Because Derek's the only one that really, I mean, in theory, the other two guys could have gone down there to get a second star to give to somebody else. But why would you do that? Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's such a why chance? Why chance that? It's not if you could keep 2 stars, that's amazing.
That would
But
be
no,
amazing
they
for
don't
like a
allow that because
close.
there's only 3 free. So they don't. So, but they when TJ's explaining the game, he shows us the audience not only Leroy hanging up there, but also Brandon already hanging up there. So we already know what Derek's answer is going to be when he asks Derek, right?
Yeah,
It's dumb. Like I don't like they're ruin every week. They're going to ruin it if they show the people that are. Why would they put Brandon and Leroy up there just to what demonstrate it and then ask Derek? And then what Derek's going to take what? No, it
right.
was. Oh, we already knew. It was stupid. So that was dumb. Didn't like
Yeah,
that. Um, and plus I don't blame Derek. It's way too chancy of a, but then again, maybe someone smaller in Derek's, he's a smaller dude. Maybe he should have taken that chance to get his star. Because if that was a hall brawl or something, and it's the final episode of the season, and Derek has no choice but to either compete in a hall brawl against Leroy or not get a star. Good luck, Derek. Like,
yeah.
I'd be nervous that you'd seriously get hurt. So, yeah. Anyways.
I agree with you. And it was again, it's funny because I was thinking while I was watching it that you would say, who are you rooting for? And I was like moderately neutral because Brandon was
Yep.
doing good. And I was like, all right, he deserves to win. Leroy hasn't been doing very well. And then I looked down and looked up and they said Leroy won. And I was like, oh, I don't know how, but I was like, oh good. So I guess I secretly
Editing,
was yeah.
editing made it seems closer, but I mean, I'm sure Leroy really did win, but it was, yeah. And
Right.
I 100% exactly what you said, Pam. I didn't care who won. I thought that they both had good reasons to come back for storyline purposes because basically that's
Mhm.
what it's come down to. Leroy has not performed well this season. Brandon's performed okay. They both had great storylines to come back to, so I didn't care. Leroy's got the Cam situation, Cara versus Cam and Leroy. There's your storyline. Brandon's got the great situation. And mind you, this all revolves around Cara. So thank God Cara didn't go home last week because, yeah, the Rachel storyline's still interesting, but I think Cara's is much more compelling as far as from a viewer standpoint. So thank goodness for
Yeah.
that.
And though I was ultimately very happy that Leroy won. At first, I was like, I don't know. And then I was like, oh, thank God. So I guess I
Yeah,
was rooting for him in my heart.
I just didn't care. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
care. I thought both storylines coming back were good, and it's not like I'm a huge I'm not like I like both of them. So, but I'm not like a Wes fan of them, or you know what I
Right
mean? Like,
now, I like Leroy more because I like know him more and I'm more invested in him. But also, since he's like, again, it's been team things and it's not his fault, but he has like lost every time. So I'm like, kind of like, I can't blame
like Pamela,
them.
you're not even like making it like just making a joke about it. I'm pretty sure
No,
he's
he has
lost
lost every time.
every time.
No, I'm not making a
That's
joke at all. That's why
insane.
I'm like, it's hard to like really fight for his. Even
Like,
again, it's a team thing. But look,
yeah.
and then he pulled it out tonight. So now I'm like, good. He's deserves to be
And, and
there.
and here's the thing about this season, it's not about finishing first in theory. It's just about not finishing last. It's not about outrunning the bear. It's about outrunning the bear more than anybody, at least one other person. And he
Yeah,
can't seem to do that. His teams are, always in that final spot. So interesting. Very interesting so
yeah.
far. We are getting, oh, well, I don't want to get into the pre-hunt. One more thing here. Did you like Leroy's choice with his star decision, which was stealing it from Adam versus stealing because that was his only choice was Adam. He couldn't steal it from the other two guys because they were in like the winner's circle, whatever you want to call that, first place. So he only could steal it from him or one of the 3 girls. And if he stole it from a girl, he could have given it to Cam. So Cam would already have her star. And his thing was like, let the women have their game. I'm stealing my star from Adam. And so what do you think of that decision?
I like
I
it
have a
actually.
hot take on it, but
Okay,
go on.
I
Yeah.
I like it personally because stealing it from a girl and giving it to Cam puts a huge target on Cam's back,
Okay.
and I think he'd probably rather. I like the decision. I haven't
Yeah.
broken it down mentally, but I would have done the same thing if I were him.
Okay. So I like what you said, and ultimately agree with it, but I think for drama's sake, okay? So I agree. He steals it from Adam. Adam can't really be that mad at him because Leroy, in theory, can say, "Hey, man, I wanted to have a star, and you're my only option." So if there were, and he could
Yeah, I don't
say,
think
you
he'd
know,
be mad at him.
if Kefla and Steve were there, I would have maybe taken theirs and saved you, Adam, because you and I cut your hair earlier in the week, and you and I are bonding, but I had no choice, man, and you know I need a star. And Adam's
Yeah.
like a totally cool dude. He obviously didn't even take it to heart. Hey, man, I'm going to try to get it back from you. All in fun. No harm here at all. So ultimately, you're 100% Leroy made the right decision. But for drama's sake, how great would it be if Leroy goes down there, takes Cara's star, and gives it to Cam? Now, yes, that does put a target on Cam's back, but I'm sorry. Next week, we're already in episode 6 here. I'm pretty sure we're getting 10 of these, meaning that basically they have maybe 3 more episodes to get a star, and that is it, which is why I thought, Derek, maybe you should have gone down there tonight, homie, because you might have 3 more chances, and I know you're having a great season so far. I don't know how I don't know how you had a great episode tonight, but apparently you did, and you're having a great season because you won last week too. Take your opportunity, man, and get that star, especially in this type of game. It's anyone's game, let's be real.
Yeah.
Okay. Next on the challenge, we are getting some drama. I forget exactly what happened, but it looks like some really good stuff is coming up as far as drama goes and whatnot. So
Okay.
I forget who was involved in
Yeah,
it, to be
I
honest.
haven't
I didn't
even
write it
watched the
down.
next on yet.
I didn't write it down, but we got some good stuff coming up, it seems like. And the dynamics in the house are great. The season's moving along. Every
Yeah.
episode, like you said, the reason it felt so quick to you tonight, Pamela, it was entertaining. They cut to the point. They moved from topic to topic. They didn't make us
Yeah.
watch 30 minutes of who should I nominate tonight? Get to the
Right.
freaking nominations. And tonight, honestly, they spent more time on backstory tonight than any other episode this season. And I was still compelled. I was still intrigued. I was still 100% there. Like on the other hour and a half episodes, I'm in my phone a little bit,
No,
sometimes too much.
today,
I get
yeah,
distracted. This one, I am invested, and I love it this way.
me too. And it's all relevant. It's not like we're going to delve into Flora's childhood and then like never to be addressed again. That's where sometimes it's like, what? When they bring up like last season, it's like, oh, what's her name's mom or something. It's like, all right.
Yeah. No, this one, they get to it. And even like when an episode isn't as good as another episode, it still moves along fast enough. We're like, okay,
Yes.
cool. They're building for this next episode, or this drama could come back in the next episode. I'm excited to watch. So, I mean, this season so far is I like it. Like I'm actually like I like the
Oh, I love it.
like why am I watching this show if I don't like it, right? People tell me that in the comment section all the time. I'm like, look, if you give me good content, I will say nice things. And yeah, we've had our complaints about it tonight. We said some things, but at the same time, I'm saying again, at the end of it, I like watching this show, and that's not my
Right.
fault. If you put out crappy stuff for me to watch, I'm gonna complain about it. So like, don't get mad at me for the producers sucking at creating a show that we used to all love. Like,
And
go back to
tonight
your
our
roots.
complaint was the spout already on? So it's pretty minute. We're not
And
really
it's an
picking
interesting
apart
thing.
big
People go
things.
back in, but I love finding those little hidden gems like that too. So go back, tell me why the hell that spout was on. Tell us in the comment section. Why would they, and if why would they
Hashtag
show us that clip?
Spoutgate. Spoutgate.
Spoutgate, why wouldn't you go
Spoutgate
and just
2024.
film it? Why wouldn't you just film another clip of him turning it back on real quick?
I
The
don't know, but
hell?
I want to hear, does everybody think that the Flora whole conversation was post the night in bed? Because I think it was.
Yeah, I mean that's another great point. Who the hell
Mhm.
knows? All right, and yeah, we'll see y'all next week for episode 6 of the challenge, All Stars season
All right, guys.
4.
Thank
All right,
you.
bye everyone.
Bye.
See ya.